Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Eye on Port. Thank you for staying tuned. This program is proudly brought to you by GOIL Company Limited, Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Community Network Services, that's GCNet, and also West Blue Consulting. The media partners are Business and Financial Times, Graphic Business as well. And if you tune in tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. on GH1, you should get a bridge version of this program on that platform. Also on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. A bridge version of whatever would transpire here will be airing on that platform. Business and Financial Times, the Thursday edition, you should be reading a lot of the things about the maritime and industry. Also Graphic Business, the Tuesday edition, you should be reading a lot more about the maritime industry. Folks, last week we started talking about the roles the shipping lines can play in ensuring trade facilitation within this country, also ensuring ease, cost-efficient way of doing business around the ports there, because not long ago, just about a week or two or 3 weeks ago, we heard from the World Bank ranking that we are back at 118th country, I think out of 190 countries also. And that means that we're only left with some Somalia or Djibouti and those countries to contend with. The rest, we are just way behind when it comes to doing business. And we think that the more we deliberate and find solutions towards our problems, the better it is for us as a country. So we're returning to the part 2 of the role of the shipping lines within the port. And if you have questions, last week we couldn't pick any calls, yet we had, I can see on top of my head, okay, so I see 82 text messages, or everybody seeking responses to one thing or the other. We attempt to address all of that. So we're going to get you involved very quick in this week edition whilst we address some of the issues. And then we hope to find solutions going forward. In the meantime, let's recap what transpired last week, and we'll be back in the studio to commence today's business. Take a listen.
Ghana went down by 4 places to 118 in the latest World Bank Ease of Doing Business ranking. The country dropped from 114 in 2019 to 118 in 2020 for the World Bank's flagship publication on the ease of doing business among 190 economies. In efforts to assess easy and cost-effective ways of doing business at Ghana's ports, Eye on Port this week engaged experts from major stakeholder agencies in the port trade to assess the role of the shipping lines and their impact on cost efficiency and ease of doing business. Speaking on Eye on Port's live interactive panel discussion, Adam Imoro Ayana, executive member of the Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana, said the shipping lines play significant roles in the maritime trade by transporting goods from different countries into Ghana, but bemoaned the poor time consciousness of the Ghanaian trader and other port facilities.
And what I've seen in Ghana is we really don't cost time.
That's it.
And that is the beginning of all failures. If you don't cost time, then you have a challenge in everything you do. And over the period, there have been chops and changes in the industry, which does not really help.
Fred Asiedu Date, head of freight and logistics at the Ghana Shippers Authority, and Eddie Akrong, an executive member of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, on their turn, complained that shipping lines have assumed the autonomy to peg their own exchange rates, making it expensive for importers to clear their cargoes and adding to the increasing cost of doing business.
What we found out is that even though the Bank of Ghana has given a certain exchange rate, which for which government revenue and other charges are being are used, to apply. The shipping lines apply varied rates.
There's no standard rate, but the scary part is this: where does it end? I'm telling you, the one shipping line was at.
The two, whose outfits represent the important public, also lamented that shipping lines are failing to work on weekends, even though efforts have been put in place to ensure that Ghana's port operates 24 hours and 7 days. Yet, the shipping lines charge demurrage, which includes weekends.
Thankfully, now we have a port that operates 24/7. And you would find out that the shipping lines would operate 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. And so if there are things to be done over the weekend, the shipping line offices are closed. However, if the particular consignment had gone on demurrage, then the demurrage continues to count.
Including the weekend?
Including the weekend.
Adam Imoro Ayana, however, responded that the shipping lines, as private businesses, would have to make a business analysis to find out whether it makes commercial sense to open its offices on weekends.
This is private business. That is fine. So if we have to change anything, yeah, we have to look at the dictates of the business and see whether it makes business sense or commercial sense. Because our customers, I mean, serving our customers is very critical.
He revealed that during a pilot program in 2014-2015 by Customs to operate 24/7, shipping lines opened on weekends but had a poor patronage. Adam Imoro Ayana suggested that before looking at the issue of working on weekends, other players in the clearance chain should prioritize working on time so there would not be need for weekend overtime.
Let's just not shout that, yeah, the port is opening at 24/7. And let's look at the whole chain. What are we doing from 8 o'clock? That is the normal time of opening hours for most business, 8 or 8:30 to 10 or to 11. What happens then? No, I'm just saying what happens then. If we can close that gap, we might see that we don't even have to go into the weekend.
Eddie Akron criticized the current system where shipping lines only release cargo after customs compliance has been done and called for decoupling of the two activities.
When we do a declaration and we pay duties, customs, it goes through customs compliance. Until customs compliance is done, the shipping line will not release your goods. Yeah. Why should that be so?
Fred Asiedu Date again called on shipping lines to make their container deposits refund systems transparent and swift to reduce the cost of trading and ease of doing business.
You will need to make a deposit, for carrying the container out of the port. But when the container has been returned, the refund mechanism.
But Adam admitted to an administrative challenge that does not make it possible for shipping lines to give out refunds instantly.
What I know is most of the shipping lines that I've spoken to, they deal with this. I think some do refunds twice in a week. Some, they have fixed days that they do refunds. And I think it's administrative.
He emphasized that shipping lines are not interested in the marriage, but quick turnaround time for their vessels, so importers should not entertain accruing the marriage and abide by the terms in their contractual agreements to clear their goods within the stipulated time frame.
You knew the cargo was coming, right? You knew that it was coming. Why would you keep it for 30 days, 40 days?
You mean the importer?
The importer. Why would you keep it for that long? For me to get my container back to send it, because that is what I trade with.
Fred Asiedu Date said the Ghana Shippers Authority has been educating importers to avoid the payment of demurrage as the costs involved in the payments of demurrage are so high. He revealed that Ghanaians paid in excess of $96 million in 2016 alone, but there have been improvements recently.
So we're going to get you involved very quickly this week. The numbers you can call, and I will tell you when you start calling, but the numbers though should be on the screen. It's supposed to be 0205528353, and the number you can WhatsApp is 055-901-9177, 055-901-9177. You can send us messages. Last week, quite a number of messages came through. I will attempt to read those that we can so that we start addressing them. In the meantime, Frank Ebo Brown is the legal licenses and permits manager for Meridian Port Services. Uncle Ebo, pleasure to have you today.
Same here.
Yeah, the sandwich to you.
Yes,
because you weren't here last week.
Yeah, because I sent both of them, so that's fine.
Okay, that's nice. Yes. Good to hear. Yes. And Mr. Edward Akron was here last week. He's a council member and immediate past executive secretary of Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Eddie, good to see you. Mr. Adam Imoro Ayana is the executive member, Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana. Mr. Ayana, also pleasure to have you around.
Thank you, and good evening to you all.
Good, good. And you were here last week as well. So quite a number of issues came up. Last week we talked about what the rules are of the shipping lines, and then we also talked about some of the challenges as were raised by Shippers Authority as well as the freight forwarders. And then Mr. Ayana himself, the Ship Owners and Agents Association, also raised quite a number of issues. One of the issues he raised, and I'm sure you've heard quite a number already in that piece, that we are not costing time as a country, particularly when it comes to doing business around the port there. He believes that time is of essence, and we as a people, particularly those who use the port, are not costing time. The issue of exchange rate also came up. The issue of refunding of container charges and all of that came up. So, Uncle Ebo, you are the fresher in our midst now. I'm going to ask you, to what extent does your terminal, or do terminal operators engage shipping lines?
Shipping lines are our primary customers because they actually bring their vessels for us to serve them.
Okay.
So we have a terminal, we have the waterfront, which takes the shipping line's vessels, you know, and operates them. So when a shipping line contacts us for business, we say, okay, what kind of service do you want? Do you want the berthing window service, or do you want the first come, first serve type of service? Those are the two services that we offer.
What's the difference?
Yeah, the difference is that where a particular shipping line, you know, has a call frequency, every week it comes, you can book a slot. Let's say every Monday morning at 9 a.m. you will be there. So within that time, we make equipment ready. If it's a ship-to-shore cranes, the mobile harbor cranes, we make them ready. We free the berth for you.
I see.
It's a premium service. And then you take advantage of that and make sure that you arrive on time. You arrive on time. Before you arrive, you plan the loading of the vessel. You give us the loading plan and everything. We plan the equipment that we're going to put there, so that the shipping line does not stay at the anchorage and incur a lot of costs, because these are the things that we try to do to serve our customers best. And the shipping lines are our customers. That's how we treat them.
And these facilities, you've been prompt at, you know, serving them, making them available for the shipping lines, have you?
Yes, we do. I mean, this has been something that we've been doing in the past for many shipping lines. So we have the berthing window vessels and the first come, first serve vessels. Okay. You know, and you need to put it within context. Look at countries like some of our West African neighbors, which have congestion charges.
Okay.
Congestion charges of up to $1,000 per container. You're looking at the cost of doing business in our ports. And if you do not put the right equipment to enable the vessels to be loaded and offloaded on time, these charges are going to be transferred to the end user. So you make sure that you provide terminal capacity. What is terminal capacity? Terminal capacity, providing the right number of equipment, the right types of equipment, the right draft of the port, the right length, because you're looking at the sizes of vessels.
Okay. And you are saying that these have been made available. If you could, in our country, for instance, do we have that at the moment?
Yes, we have, and we've moved from one stage to another.
Okay.
I mean, before Ayana would bear me out, about maybe 15 years ago, we didn't have a containerized cargo terminal. Then MPS came and started with a containerized cargo terminal about 12 years ago. And then, you know, container vessels have also developed. We used to have the 2,500 TEU vessels. We now have about the 5,000 TEU vessels, which until sometime before June this year were the biggest vessels that could come into Tema. And even those 5,000 TEU vessels, that's, if I say TEU, I mean 20-footer equivalent units. You know, they could not come into Tema fully laden. They are called the West Africa Maximum vessels. They were not able to come into Tema fully laden. So they would have to go to the neighboring ports like Lomé or Abidjan to lighten up. What does it mean for business in Ghana? What it means is that Ghana is not the first port of call. Sometimes your cargo would have to be delivered somewhere else on the west coast of Africa. It is not the fault of the shipping line. It is not the fault of anybody else. It's because there is no capacity.
Okay. But so, all of these have moved on.
Yes.
Okay.
We've moved on. And thankfully, we say that we are now able to take the largest vessels in the container business in the world.
And to what extent are people responding to to some of these newness in the system? Importers, agents, are people responding accordingly? If you have, now you are saying that, say, the ports of Ghana have the facilities. Have people been briefed enough that, yes, so begin to respond accordingly because everything is available?
When you say responding, we have different types of responses. You have the shipping lines. They are responding. They are excited about it. You know, they're bringing in their big vessels. They're trying to take advantage of transshipment. We'll talk about later when we'll talk more about that later when there is time. So they are responding. You have truckers who come in, and the truck turnaround time, you know, that's the time spent by a truck within the terminal, is reduced. Gone are the days when a truck will spend the whole day in the port. What does it mean for the trucker? He can't even do 2 trips a day. Now the truck turnaround time has been reduced to about 1 hour, at least within the terminal, before you go and do your customs clearance.
Okay.
So the truck turnaround time is also reducing, and it's a response. Now we're working 24/7. We know that it is a new thing for Ghana, but we want people to take advantage of the 24/7 operations.
Okay.
You know, because you put people
24/7 means that 24 hours and 7 days.
363 days in a year, apart from Christmas Day and Good Friday.
Yeah.
You know, 24/7 throughout.
Okay.
And we expect people to take advantage of that. You know, sometimes you put people at work, you realize that the whole night there's not much activity. Meanwhile, you're paying these people overtime.
Okay.
You know, because they're working at night.
Okay.
And in the mornings, things will not pick up till about 10, 11. Then everything is compressed between 10, 11 to about 7, 8 o'clock. We want to continue educating the important public that they should take advantage of these things, especially when we have a track appointment system. Now we have track appointment system where you can book a slot and know that within this time frame, you can come and book your containers and take them away, go through the clearance processes.
Okay. So you talked about the fact that the shipping lines are responding. Are the importers and the freight forwarding, because these are supposed to be the two working together, are they responding equally?
You see,
because you just raised the issue of timing,
yes,
and people not showing up at the right time.
I believe that we are in a transition period, so I would not be finger pointing, but rather tell them about the opportunities available. You know, this is what we need to engage our stakeholders, you know, on. That, look, these are the facilities. We built this facility to last for 100 years.
Yeah.
So if within a period of 3 months, everything, you know, everybody has not responded as you think he should, you shouldn't give up. This is only the beginning. Yeah. And the facilities are there, and we really believe, we have the clearest conviction that they will respond.
Okay. So it's not so much about, you know, finger pointing that somebody, or blame gaming and all of that.
No.
But it's just letting, you know, if we know that, you are supposed to be here at so and so time, we are telling you that be encouraged and come.
Yes.
So, Mr. Eddie Akron, so last week we had a lot going, and then we talked a lot about the issues, you know, when it comes to the shipping lines and all of that. Is there anything else that you intend to add as far as the challenges that you raised last week is concerned, and also the issue about freight forwarders who work on behalf of importers responding to time to ensure that we facilitate trade around the port area there?
Okay. I think there are quite a few issues that we still did not hatch on, but I'll take it from your last point, and just like when people said, see, I've said that this issue about work not starting at 8 o'clock is basically, it's just an evil cycle.
Yeah.
And like I explained last week, I was saying, customs, we would have to decouple. You know, this is a process. You pay duty, it goes to compliance. Compliance is done before you can go and release, before you can go to the port. So this is a process. Now, if there's a break in that process, i.e., if customs compliance is not done, it means you are stuck. But the reason why I say this moves on into the next day, because, okay, so if I did this on Monday morning, if I did my compliance. I paid duty. I did compliance. I have to wait. Compliance comes in, then I move to the shipping line. Whatever time I spend at the shipping line before I can move to the port. So, like I said emphatically, if we decouple this, so that if I had my bill of lading today, I walk to the shipping line, I can release without waiting whilst I'm doing my compliance. If compliance is done, I can start work at any time.
Yeah.
Because all the processes that we do, the Ghana Integrated, Cargo Clearance System, is something I can do in my bed at night, okay, or on Sunday morning, anytime. So if that happens, we are going to that issue of work not starting around 9 or 10
will be resolved.
Will be resolved.
Okay.
Because basically my business is hinged on me getting the goods to the customer, and then I get paid. If I don't do that, why would I want to just sit at home and say 9 o'clock? No, I want to start work at 11. No.
So you think that is so direct that once we decouple compliance, we should be fine with you?
So much, like not just fine, it's going to reduce cost, because we're going to have these issues of demurrage. It's going to reduce it so much. I gave you the example of the Friday situation, that if I do any declaration on Friday, I am almost bound to give 3 free days to any shipping line.
Okay.
Because if I do a declaration on Friday morning,
you have to wait till Monday.
You have to wait till Monday, and that's 3 days gone. It's
Okay.
rent 3 days and demurrage 3 days.
Okay. So
That
now,
is a constant.
now to check early time, people responding and coming to do their jobs as early enough as you wish, and Uncle mentioned, and I'm sure Mr. Yana also raised as this major problem. You want us to decouple compliance from the shipping line releases,
Yes,
and you
indeed.
think we solve that problem.
It will solve.
Is there any other problem again?
So there are a few other issues with the shipping lines. We went on the issue of the collection of refunds. Okay, so this refund issue, and I've gone back, and I still know this is a persistent problem. This is the thing. You have their container, which, like Zayana said last week, is their warehouse. They need this equipment so bad. If you want this equipment so bad, why would I deliver it to you on Sunday and you would not take it and say, okay, this is not a customer of the port, that you're not returning to the port, I have a certain terminal, if the terminal is not working. But you are employing that terminal to do that. So if you need this equipment to you, that you gave me so bad, if I bring it to you on Sunday, if I bring it to you at midnight, you have to take it. Okay? Then I can save some money because I have a deposit with you. The interesting thing is that when I go back to you, say on a Monday morning, you didn't take the box on Sunday, I come back to you on Monday, you're saying no. Come and pay my demurrage first, and then go and put the box down, and then come back to me and apply for a refund. But if this refund takes another 2 weeks, I know they have they administratively tell you, okay, we pay this twice a week. So if I brought the box back on Monday, Wednesday you pay me. But I'm saying this is not what is happening.
Okay.
So we should have that situation where if you don't give it to me on the Wednesday, then there should be an interest situation that the money I left with you should be accruing some interest because it's in your account.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the refund
But
issue.
there are other
Then-
issues though. If
you can latch on it quickly, then Mr. Anna comes in. Then we have those coming from the viewers as well.
There are 2 issues, basically. Like I'm saying, we're stuck with that situation. Why we talked about regulations last week, that the avoidance of regulation is a pure recipe for chaos. Okay? If we don't, and if we avoid that,
What do you mean avoidance of regulations?
we talked about there has to be regulations.
Okay.
Certain things need to be regulated, and not necessarily the private business issues, but we looked at things like the exchange rate and all that.
You think there are no regulatory measures for those ones, controlling those?
They're not. The 3 days issue, what time it should actually start counting. Should it start counting on Friday when the vessel has arrived and I can't have access to it on Saturday, Sunday? Should they start counting on the Friday or should they start counting on Monday? The exchange rate issue, there has to be a certain ceiling, okay, which will give freedom to, the trading public as to, okay, who do I want to deal with on that basis. One other interesting issue that is coming up is that I'm pinpointing a specific shipping line, which has been sending out these love letters. When I say love letters,
Yeah.
because there's an interesting issue that, boxes that have been returned, the interchange has been taken, the boxes have been returned, the boxes have gone away sometimes for a year. Suddenly you get, some love letter. I brought a couple of them.
It says what?
Now they're asking that when the boxes were taken away, there was it was detected that some damage happened. And this detection is done when the box has gone over a year. Then you get a letter saying that, okay, so they detected there was some dent or something. So then you have to come and pay.
After a year?
After 1 year. I have a similar letter here. Now, I have several of these. But the interesting part is this. This has been going on for a while, and in all cases, these are boxes that have been returned a long time, and then the deposits have been returned. Okay? So now you're bringing back this letter to the agent that, no, the box that you picked up for so and so has, it was detected by some expert somewhere a year after that, he had a dent, so you have to come and pay this amount. And the amounts range from, you have 47, in this particular case, you have 47 euro, it goes all the way to about 230. At what point does this then happen? How do you, actually, clarify at what point the dent happened, whether it was on the way to wherever you took the box or what happened in the chain? It's a bit dodgy, and there's several of these. So it's beginning to, look like it's a particular situation. And what happens if you do not make this payment? When you go back for your next release and you have a deposit, then they hold the deposit against that.
I see.
Which is not fair.
A deposit that's for a different client.
A different client.
You have to pay for another
Yes.
client whose box was damaged.
Exactly. So then they hold it. Okay. That is one big issue. The other issue I wanted to talk about was the issue of the charges. You see, if there is no regulation, there are certain items on the invoices which, are a bit problematic. I showed one to my brother the other day about our cleaning fees. We agree. If you give me the box came clean, I load the box, and then I bring it here. Once delivery is done, the box has to come to me clean. So if I bring the box to you clean, what do? Do you refund that amount to me? Because you pre-charge me. Right? You invoice me for a box that I'm taking away. You said I'm supposed to bring it to you clean. So if I bring it to you clean, what are you going to do? Give me a refund for that? You understand? You see where I'm coming from? Okay. So that's the other thing. The last one, which is also a major point, is that I think we need to look at the competition laws in this country, because
what competition?
Competition laws, because there's a lot of unfairness. It's a whole industry. Now, if you look at our laws, the customs laws, Act 891, Section 43, talks about who can specifically do the business of Customs House Agency, and it says, exactly what it can do. We have shipping lines now calling us. I got calls sometime, then asking you, if you're going to bring your boxes, we can do the clearing for you. I said, why would you want to do this? I am a customs agent. Most of the time, they do not know, because we have our phone numbers there. They do not know that we are the agents. So, are they competing with us, taking our businesses from us? Because if I can, just to straighten the argument a little bit, you can go to the airport, even with the lines and the courier services. What is happening now? And one courier service, I'm still not mentioning names, but if you go to them and you want to clear, they said, okay, if we are clearing for you, then that's fine. You're not going to pay this fee. If an agent is going to come and clear for you, then he has to pay this extra fee. For what reason? When the laws of our country allows us to wait, why would you want to charge me? Now that would be some kind of blackmail, holding me down, so you can take my jobs from me. But this doesn't happen. In all of West Africa, I know, you go to Togo, you can't do the business. That little bit. And the laws reserve it for indigenous Ghanaians in Section 43 of Act 891.
Okay, so that competition bit, let's get it clearer. Explain that bit again, because it sounds quite complicated. I don't know why they are competing.
So you can't be a player, manager, coach, and all in all. Yeah. Because if the shipping line is bringing cargo into this country, and he's the one bringing the cargo, he gets here, he has the manifest. On the manifest, he sees all the juicy jobs on the manifest. He gets here and tries to take that juicy job, all the project, cargo from, that, and contacts the importer directly that I want to do this business for you.
Who?
The shipping lines.
The shipping lines?
Yes.
I see.
Okay? And the laws of the country do not allow them to do that. So that's another matter. That's for customs also to answer, because their own law tells you who can and cannot do the business of customs house agents.
No, but so it surprises me, and the reason I asked you to repeat so that somebody will get it clearer. To what extent is somebody who is not mandated to execute a certain kind of job would look on a manifest and say, this job looks nice. Even though I am not a pharmacist, I see a job, prescriptions that I think I can just go and prescribe. Meanwhile, I know I'm a nurse. And people are doing that. That's surprising because that's not your forte. That's not your.
But they're in the business of customs house agency business. We have written to customs, even from the RGD Registrar General's Department. Of step by step, we written to the board of the Ghana Revenue Authority that they should look at their laws. Okay, I wouldn't blame them so much as to them doing it. I mean, it's a lucrative business; they will do it. Okay, so we're just telling customs that this should be done. They should go according to their law, and make sure that those who do customs house agency business should be those that that their law, Section 43 of the Act 891, stipulates that they can do the business of customs house agents.
Okay. Unfortunately, customs is not here to tell us that it is possible for a shipping line to undertake a broker's business. That aspect. But Mr. Yana is here, so I'm sure that along the line he probably would have a thing or two to say about that. So, Mr. Yana, a few things. Your issue about time, for instance, which was also reiterated by Mr. Ebo Brown, Eddie is trying to tell us that once you decouple compliance from the shipping line releases, we should be able to get that resolved. On the issue of return of boxes on weekends, I don't know how we can also help the shipping lines to fine-tune that area. Lack of regulatory measures to deal with some issues. I don't know what you would have to say about it. For damages on boxes, after a year you are being charged about it. If you also want to tell us how the industry can help you to deal with these things, it would be better. And then the thing about what he just talked about, if you want to touch on it, competing businesses with the customs house agents and all of that. And when you return also clean boxes, do you get a refund? Those are some of the things you would have to help us understand properly, and how the industry can also help the shipping lines to fine-tune this business going forward. Aside that, you can also chip in your bit, and then I'll read the other comments that have come through.
I think Eddie has resolved all the issues.
So he has.
So I don't even know what to say. Yes, I think all these issues that Eddie has brought up are issues, like I said the last time, of dialogue. And I think it's important that we dialogue within the industry to address some of these issues. There's so many things that Eddie raised. Container cleaning fee. The first thing is the item charge itself. It's part of the shipping cost. A shipping charge, right? Like he rightly stated, that's once you pick a container from a shipping line clean, they will give you a clean container, and you have to return it in clean order. If there is, for whatever reason, the container is dirty or is damaged or whatever, there would be some charges. But if you have to appreciate that all the charges has a certain policy around it. So the issue is, what was the original agreement for that policy? Because I don't think it's maybe all the shipping lines that are charging in the manner that Eddie said that some people are pre-charging. Like we all know, and I'm sure it's part of their policies, that when you put a container deposit, it will be refunded.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if there is an item that does not qualify to be charged, like you're saying, I bring a container, is clean, why should you charge me? If someone is charged me, it will be good I go and dialogue with the person to understand and appreciate why this is happening. And then I think we can resolve it. There are a lot of the other issues. There are a lot of issues that I keep saying. I think 2 or 3 days ago, I had the opportunity to meet some of my brothers, the agents, and they brought a couple of issues up. I think what we should be, like you said, we are here to resolve issues. What we should be asking ourselves, if you go to MPS and you have an issue, is there an avenue opened that you could go and get it addressed? If you go to the agents, if you go to the shipping lines, those will be our first point of call to start addressing and dialoguing as business people within the same industry. And if those things are not there, then we should start looking at them. But I think they are there. So if they are there, then we should start highlighting and really using them. Because sometimes, you know, people will just go to a counter or something and then have an engagement with, you know, another colleague and goes back to the office and, you know, rants about some of the issues. But there hasn't been really dialogue because we are in business. Like I said, the customers are our customers. And by extension, they've become the customers of the customs house agents also. So we all seek their interest. So at the end of the day, the customs house agent is acting on behalf of the customer who has an agreement with the shipping line. And it's upon the shipping line to ensure that that shipping line lives by that agreement. And once we start looking at these things, I'm sure we can resolve a lot of the things. Okay. On the Grimaldi issue, Eddie brought it up to me last week.
You mentioned
it's fine.
He had a peculiar issue with
it's a peculiar issue, and I think maybe we can look at it. Like I told you earlier, let's ask them to see what it is, because it's difficult for me to speak to issues if I don't understand what has transpired. But we have something called interchange, right? Yeah. When you come and take a container from us, we have an interchange. We would inspect the container collectively, and you know, if there are dents, we mark them in. So when you come and there are additional dents, we should be able to identify it. Sometimes even holes, we should be able to identify them. And then there we agree that, listen, you have a certain liability. Yeah. I must say that this is a stretch. You could have holes from somewhere that you might not pick up. And that also...
From the initial inspection?
No, from maybe the final inspection even. You know, you could even have a top lifter lifting, you know, containers, and it could create holes. Now, when these things happen, that is why there is a P&I club. That is why every shipping line also has a claim department. You know, because somebody, the onus of proof should lie on someone. So I would keep encouraging and engaging that we should engage. And like I tell Eddie Dems, all these shipping lines are individual businesses sitting there. SWAG is there as an association that looks at the common principles. We don't look at charges and all those things, but standards and those things. If you can go to the shipping lines and dialogue better, if you think there is a persistent issue that we want us to get into, we can't go to the shipping line and say, hey, do this or do that. We'll take the issue and then approach them and understand what it is and bring the two parties together for us to resolve.
On that particular example of one being pulled back after 1 year to now pay for damages that they think you caused in a particular box a year ago, where do you think somebody in that situation can seek redress?
You can seek redress from the same
shipping line.
But
they're the ones charging.
Yes, but things happen, right? Things go wrong.
And they have served you.
At the end of the day, why are they serving you? Are they telling you that when you brought the container, there was a dent? There is a document to prove that. Even if you have misplaced your document, per the claims listing, they should be able to go into their archives to bring that document to ascertain whether there was a damage. Was there a damage? Like, I don't know the specific situation, and maybe Eddie might not also know the specific. Was there maybe
the damage happened?
Was there an issue where maybe, okay, the damage happened, okay, we'll take it. Sometimes when damages happen, depending on the type of damage, certain clients will agree that, okay, let's go to destination and it will be fixed there. Or a shipping line will say, this one, we can't fix it here. We have to send it to the destination for them to assess, and then they return with a cost. I know of these things, they happen. So this very issue, I don't know, but it will be good. If it's a lot going out, it will be good that at least we raise it with the shipping line and then come up with something that at least would appease everyone.
Because I wanted to confirm that in all these cases, these are containers that the interchange has been given out, you know, has been returned, holes on, you know, with just what the marks were there, the containers, the interchanges are returned, and the deposits that were made for this particular purpose have also been returned to the client. Wow. And so then a year later, and then you receive this. So
even if you have one specific issue that you have an interchange attached. I mean, that is there,
plenty of
etc.
it.
I'm sure not just one, because you just have to get the principle right. You know, I would say, I'm not saying that everyone should call me. I mean, if you call me, you might not even get me. But I would say that on an issue like this, it's becomes an industry issue. This is a service issue. It's not about cost. It's a service issue, and it's an issue that we also have to resolve and educate the public on some of these things. I would say maybe drop one to me and let me check with the line, and then whatever it is, I'll come back to you, and then, you know.
But it's actually a service issue that has a huge impact on cost as well. And so, to what extent do we have? Is there a measure that says that, okay, it is possible for you to return after 1 year? Does it state, is it a term in any of your contracts you engage with the shipping lines that after 1 year or after a period of time, when you have assessed the boxes and everything, you can still come back? If there is a problem with the box, we can still pull you back to come and pay for it.
I doubt it. Listen to something.
Like
listen, I doubt it. Listen to this. From the one. No, listen to
Why
this.
do we apply
I doubt
it?
it. Listen to this. At the end of the day, we are saying that we want our containers timely to go into circulation. Are you telling me that you come and give me a box and for 1 year I won't use it, and I only find out after 1 year that there's a hole in it? That means something might have happened when the container was returned. There might have been something. Or there's an overlook from someone. So
and the client wasn't contacted from
No,
that
it's
stage.
now that the client is being contacted from what
After the container has gotten to port of this.
In my opinion, I think we should look at the details of every case, because sometimes that importer would not tell you what really transpired, because we've been doing claims for a long time, and normally we use the interchange report as the basis, you know, of any claim. So if at the time of handing over the container, no problem was recorded on the container, I do not think that the shipping line would have the justification to actually come and do so. And so let's look at the facts. Sometimes we don't get all the facts surrounding these
But
matters.
is this a peculiar one? Is something that you get regularly?
I said I have about 20 of them.
I see.
Is this
Because
from a
in fact, on the
specific
list,
line?
Okay.
There's a specific line, yes.
Okay. So we are going to.
Which, interestingly, is not a major container line. That interests me.
I'm happy you are not mentioning the name of the line.
I've done that already.
Okay, so we're going to go for a break. When we come, we will be happy to take some of your messages and calls as well. The number 055-901-9177, 020-552-8353, and we will share your comments with the rest of the world as well as the panel. We'll be back shortly.
The Norwegian ship
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect, and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Dear valued client, the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is now live to make it easy to track your consignment and know the estimated duty payable for both general goods and used vehicles. We are pleased to inform you that the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is available for download on Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for Apple users. This is the best opportunity for all importers and exporters to know the duty payable on every good under transaction. You can reach the team for inquiries and support by calling +233 242 435 663. Send an email to support@ghanastradinghub.com To remain updated, kindly follow progress on the following platforms: www.facebook.com/Ghana Trade Hub, www.twitter.com/Ghana Trade Hub, and ghlinkedin.com/in/Ghana Trade Hub. Importers and exporters can download the official Ghana Single Window mobile app, which allows you to track your consignment conveniently and also allows you to obtain your estimated duty for general goods and used vehicles. Please spread the message to everyone importing or exporting. The Ghana Trading Hub mobile app is now live. Download and never be cheated. This is powered by the Smart Ports project under the auspices of the Government of Ghana and the Ghana Revenue Authority. Smart Port, improving Ghana's ease of doing business.
Utiliser les ports de Tema et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux, ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières.
Les femmes, à vous les honneurs.
Les ports de Tema et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Okay, so welcome. The guest in the studio is Edward Akron, Council Member, Immediate Past Executive Secretary, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Frank Ebo Brown, Legal Licenses and Permits Manager, MPS, Adam Imoru Ayana, Executive Membership Owners and Agents Association of Ghana. And before we went on break, Eddie had raised an issue that some of the shipping lines are actually trying to compete with the clearing agents. Ms. Ayana, are you aware of this? And how serious would that be in your perspective?
I can only smile.
Because
I can only smile because we all know, I mean, unless something else has happened that we are not aware of, that the customs law, as Eddie pointed out, has restricted customs house brokerage to Ghanaians, right?
Yeah.
I know in the law, in the act, they have this word indigenous, and I've seen indigenous coming into a lot of local content policies. But the question I keep asking myself, and I'm happy my brother Ebo is here, the word, is there any word like indigenous in our constitution?
I mean, the constitution is not the only law of Ghana. We have many other laws, but I don't know within what context you're talking about this, but I believe you're talking about local companies or local entities, and that is defined by law. I don't want to get into that space because I don't know the background of that whole issue. So,
no, but suffice to say, I mean, what we know is that most of these agents, I mean, most of these companies who were doing clearing, who are considered foreign companies, they stopped renewing their licenses, so they are not doing clearing. They are focusing on freight forwarding. And I think they are having rather alliances with local companies, that's Ghanaian companies, who are into those other services that are reserved for Ghanaians. You know, transports, they would go for a Ghanaian transport company to join, because everybody is looking at intermodal transportation. Everybody is looking at how can we make business easier for our customers. That is what everybody is looking at. But it's always good to look into these kind of things. I don't think anybody has, any of our people have. Eddie, don't get me wrong. They might be calling your people. They might be calling your people and doing whatever. But I don't think they have the license to do clearance. Maybe they are dealing with clearing agent, I mean another local, a Ghanaian clearing agent. But suffice to say, Eddie, make yourself very known. Try to control the cargo of your customer. Try to gradually move from the customs house brokerage into freight forwarding so that you have a say even in the vessels that they use, etc. Then gradually we are increasing and we are expanding the service scope.
You think we're not doing
No,
that?
if they are doing that, then if the shipping line even calls them, goes to not. It won't make any difference because it's my client.
And talking about ease of doing business, profitability in the ports, reducing cost of doing business, there are many opportunities presented by the new business dispensation within the port, especially within the context of the expanded port. Are we taking advantage of these things?
In which directions are you looking
In
at?
which direction? We are looking at one, serious transshipment. We have one major drawback or two major drawbacks on transshipment. The costs and then the question of bond, placing a bond, on transshipped items, which makes it too expensive. I believe that our authorities should be able to take off these two items, and transshipment will be a major drive for good business within the port of Tema. Okay. Look, currently we have Hapag-Lloyd. Hapag-Lloyd wants to make Ghana a hub of transshipping the goods that are bound from Southern Africa, that's Middle East, that's we call the Middle East India Africa Express. They're thinking of creating a hub in Tema to actually take the Southern African products to Europe so that containerized cargo that have nothing at all to do with Ghana would pass through Ghana, and Ghana would make some money out of that. Okay. That is transshipment. We should be dealing with it. Apart from that, you're also looking at feeder services. Ghana is becoming the first port of call because we have the capacity. When we talk about the capacity, we have the draft, we have the equipment, we have the length of the quay wall and everything to be able to accommodate big vessels. What are we doing about these things to actually take the opportunities that come with these things to drive the economy forward? I've always used this example. Shipping something, let's say a container of plastic chairs or anything, from Ghana to Liberia, where would it go to? There's no direct service. It will go to North Africa or it will go to Europe and be transferred back. What does it mean? Multiple handling, time wastage, and everything. Is this how we want to do business with our neighbors? We are talking about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. How are we going to take advantage of these if we do not actually amend these transshipment laws? So the authority should very much work swiftly to ensure that these transshipment laws are amended. Otherwise, we'll lose these businesses to neighboring ports.
And who is the authority here?
We're talking about...
You mean government?
Yeah, there are many authorities within government. So the authorities, you're looking at Ghana Revenue Authority, Customs Division, and all that. They should be looking at it and making sure that these things are done. Okay. And just about that, we're talking, it's good we're talking details here, but really the cost of doing business in the ports should be looked at on a bigger scale. You find a lot of people going to borrow money, okay, to take an LC to import items. If the that's the frequency of vessels coming into Ghana is not that much, and it takes 3 months to actually go import that item, and you're paying interest on these cargo that you're bringing in for 3 months, your cost of doing business is higher. The shipping lines are partnering the terminals to try and increase the number of calls. Okay. And then that the turnaround time for vessels, the number of vessels, the number of calls, the turnaround time of vessels will really reduce the cost of doing business in the ports. These are the things that we really, really, really need to look at again.
So
these are the big, big, big opportunities for all parties.
Increasing the number of calls means instead of the 3 months.
Instead of the 3 months,
vessels coming in.
You see, the shipping line maybe has a number of slots for Ghana.
Okay.
So it has 50 slots on a small vessel that has gone to berth at, the big vessel has gone to berth at Colombo. And, you know, is bringing a small vessel into Ghana. It has 50 slots.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Dear valued client, the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is now live to make it easy to track your consignment and know the estimated duty payable for both general goods and used vehicles. We are pleased to inform you that the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is available for download on Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for Apple users. This is the best opportunity for all importers and exporters to know the duty payable on every good under transaction. You can reach the team for inquiries and support by calling +233 242 435 663. Send an email to support@ghanastradinghub.com. To remain updated, kindly follow progress on the following platforms: www.facebook.com.
Okay, so we apologize for that abrupt interruption there. We are back though, and I'm sure that we're back for good. Anglebo, you were on the floor before we left.
Yes,
talking about how we can take advantages, the shipping lines. And
yes, I'm talking about the fact that when the bigger vessels come in, you're able to bring in more business for the port, more business for the importers.
And are you encouraging the shipping lines to bring in these bigger vessels?
We have started and we are doing that.
Okay.
In fact, we're going to be, since we started, we've had vessels with about 13,000 TEUs coming in, when initially we could not even take a 5,000 TEU vessel fully laden.
Okay, so what then would you require of the importing public?
We require the importing public to now take advantage of the 24-hour service, take advantage of the shipping lines, tell the shipping lines that they want to import more.
Okay.
You know, you're importing and you know that you can get enough slots on a vessel. So you're importing, you're not wasting, you're not going to take 3 months to actually get the goods in.
Okay.
You can get the goods in within 2 weeks, you can get the goods in within 3 weeks, you cut out a lot of wastage.
Okay, now the importing public also makes some claim that the shipping lines don't even work your 24/7 that you are talking about. They work only 24/5. That aspect, what do you tell them?
No, that
What do you tell them?
Ebo said it earlier.
No,
Ebo said it earlier that they started active operation 3 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with time, these
Yes.
things will evolve.
You have
And
to
I
do-
said last week,
we have
they
to
will
have,
evaluate.
Yes.
They will look at it.
You have
And
to
I'm
have
sure
stakeholder
everybody will come.
engagement.
Yes.
You know, you engage your stakeholders, they look at the profitability. As I said earlier on, sometimes you start work you come to work at 8 a.m. Our people run shifts, and even before 8 a.m., you find no truck there.
He gave you a reason that if we decouple compliance from release,
exactly, you're looking at engaging various stakeholders, put them together, tell them about your problems here, let them know about your challenges there, and together we fix it, because now we have the facility.
Your perspective
How then
on this?
do you use the facility to actually,
efficiently,
promote ease of doing business? You have to make business easy to do within the port. If you want to ease the doing of business in the port, you have to make sure that all stakeholders are on board.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that one is on board, one is not on board. And I can tell you that with the Ghana Freight Forwarders Association, we meet them almost every time in the same context as we meet the shipping lines. So I believe that this is only a forum for us to share our challenges, but we would dive deeper into the issues when we meet
them.
Yes, you know,
But
at the table.
At this point, I want your perspective on this. Do you think it is time that you have the shipping lines also working the weekends?
We believe that it will be. We believe that it will be a good thing to actually align all working times, so that all parties are able to work together. But they are private entities, and they also have to look at the profitability. But I'm very clear in my mind that when there's a lot of business, they will find it profitable to work 24/7. So,
but do we have to wait for that? I mean, we are encouraging people, and you're encouraging the importers to now begin to do more, so that you bring in bigger vessels.
As a TV station, you cannot run prime time throughout the night.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. So you're
available throughout the day.
You're looking at the opportunities that are coming with the business.
Yeah.
The new port facility has just started operating in June 2019. All stakeholders, including trackers. In fact, trackers didn't even know that we're working 24/7.
Yeah. And the trackers sent you
we had to push them to understand that, look, there's the need to come and pick your containers. And I can tell you that some of them are so very excited when they come in, and within 30 minutes they're out, especially in the night.
Okay. My name is Tracy. I'm an agent in Tema. Please, is it true? It is true, when vessels arrive, the shipping lines don't give invoice until the vessel has finished discharging. Secondly, the weekend charges that they charge, talking about shipping lines, is cheating, because they don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. So why should they charge us? And then this one says, why should shipping lines charge demurrage on Saturdays and Sundays, whilst they don't work on those days? This is coming from Samuel in Tema. The man, okay, so this one says, in fact, shipping lines make a lot of benefits from the deposit paid. They save the deposit money with the bank and get a lot of interest from the savings. Now, when you come back within 2 days for your money, they fling you with a lot of requirements. Example, open account with them, write authority letter, etc., before they pay. Very abysmal. That is the forwarder called Frempong, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. MPS is now working 24/7 to enhance trade facilitation and also to reduce congestion at the airport. But the challenge now is shipping lines are not working on weekends, even though they have been requested to do so. Therefore, freight forwarders are not able to release their cargo with shipping lines on weekends in order to work at MPS on weekends to ease port congestion. That's coming from Romeo Frimpong, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. In this area of paperless digitization, we don't expect all staff of shipping lines to come and work on weekends. We only request shipping lines to develop a system where our cargo release will be done automatically online when we send a request for release. This is doable. Good evening, Iron Port. We wish shipping lines would work on weekends and a little late as customs works on weekends. Also, can your panel explain why some line charges are higher than others? Mr. Ayana is experiencing Maersk is, okay, Mr. Ayana, this is an experience. Maersk is doing well. I want a deed to know Maersk do so. Okay, that's not clear. Good evening, please. How long does it take when a shipper requests for shipping agent manifest amendment? Coming from Daniel from Spintex. And then the deposits are two: container deposits and detention deposit. The former is the one waived most of the time, but the latter is paid by almost every customer. And that is the crack of the matter. Shipping lines like Maersk are on record for keeping detention deposits for weeks and at times beyond a month. This is coming from Paul in Tema. Hi, boss. Please ask the shipping line rep, that's Mr. Ayana, why the need of SEPS compliance before a container can be released. Regards from Ni in Tema. Shipping lines don't even give you invoice until the vessel discharges. So how can they give them that charge at port of loading with or without MPS? Shipping lines have no business charging on weekends when they don't work on weekends. Good evening. My name is Nana Ajwa. I am very surprised D is soft with the gentleman from Suwak on his left side. Can he mention one shipping line that works on weekends or work after 5 p.m. during weekdays? They just charge for nothing they have done. Good evening, bosses. Really enjoying your discussion this evening on the roles of shipping lines. My question is relating to the terminal. Why is MPS charging partial on stuffing on diplomatic containers? From Stephen Kuma, Ashaiman Official Town. Thank you. Please, why do some shipping lines charge both mandatory deposits and container deposits? Please tell Mr. Ayana that container terminals close at 3 p.m. on Saturdays. Mr. Ayana, are you aware Grimaldi line closes at 4 p.m. on Fridays? He's also asking whether you are aware Grimaldi closes at 4 p.m. on Fridays. Good evening, Sam. Please tell Mr. Adam to be realistic about issues on stopping. Okay, they are taking importers and agents for granted. So I think that's shipping lines. Good evening, Iron Port. Tell Mr. Ayana to slow down small. Okay, this one was for last week. My name is Hamida. Please tell him, okay, until the vessel, I think that's it. So until the vessel depart from the port of the shipping lines don't give invoices to agents with the excuse that vessel is still in the port and they calculate it from the date of arrival. Ms. Ayana, can you respond to some of these?
I don't know. I think I had only two questions.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
I had only two
so
questions.
Which ones that you can
most of the
to?
issues that we've spoken about, I mean, at the
sort
end
of
the
address
day,
some of these things.
Yes, at the end of the day, what was happening before MPS came on board, we were working from Monday to Friday. That is what it is. MPS has their business case. When they were coming in or prior to planning, even signing on the agreement, they knew they were going to be doing 24/7. And that is why they would also factor a couple of things in. I mean, like you said, they are working shift, and generally that's what terminals do. So at the end of the day, when you have to look at the other side, they also have to evaluate and then see, I mean, the way forward. So I don't want to belabor the issue of weekend. The bottom line is, before June, were shipping lines working up to Friday, and were they charging demurrage on weekends? If they were, what has changed? So what we should be looking forward is, as we progress and as things, go on, I'm sure with time, yes, what can we do? I'm sure with time, people will graduate. Like Atu said, I mean, if the business is there and other things, you want to serve your clients, you will be forced even to open 24/24, not 24/7. You find more days. The issue of decoupling, it's not from the shipping line. It's not the making of the shipping line. It's an administrative directive from customs that shipping lines cannot release until customs releases. Like I said last week, we'll be happy to do that. But you see, when people ask for things, we should also look at the other aspect of the things. If you want shipping lines to work extra hours, there will be a cost factor. That will come. We should also be prepared for that. The second thing is, if you want to decouple, I'm not saying we don't, we want to decouple. It takes another burden on the terminals, because at the end of the day, the terminals are going to be the watchdog. Because when a delivery order expires, they would have to also return you to go and renew your delivery order. If they don't, then the shipping line is also going to take the money from them. So, like I said, all these things, I'm sure they would, I mean, when we sit around.
And they should be also prepared for that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So all these things could be ironed out. Are there any issues that I left out?
Yeah, same. There are a lot of issues for you
But
almost the same thing.
Yeah. Last week, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah, almost the same issues.
I wanted to touch on this issue of the, you see,
of which one?
On the competition issues, why, I mean, taking jobs and why there will not be a fair playing field, a level playing field. It has to happen. If not, because like I was saying, we don't have the free market situation. Like once this shipping line brought your goods, you have no choice but to go to that shipping line. So if he says, this is what I'm charging, you don't have a choice. I'm going to give you this number.
We have announced the phone line, so we can go ahead and if those who are on the line, we can be talking to them. Fifi, Noel, I'm really enjoying the program. Please, I want to find out why Saturday and Sundays are considered for freight forwarders to pay demurrage to shipping lines if they are unable to clear their boxes on Friday. That bit has.
You see, maybe let me just answer this bit. If that is how they want me to answer it, there's a contract that the shipper or the consignee has with the shipping line. They should look at that contract. That contract covers. And if before you go and ship with the shipping line, it tells you how demurrage will be charged. And it includes weekends and holidays. So it's a contract that is there, unless they want to terminate that contract.
No, so you don't really want to terminate
hold on. Unless you want to terminate that contract. If you want a change, as we are talking about, that we've just started 24/7, then with time, you have to also allow the businesses to also evaluate. But if you keep going on it and they are wicked and they are stealing and you use all those kind of words, it's not going to happen.
So let's get it clear.
That contract is there. Yeah. And you said, look, you took my box. So until you bring my box to me, then the demurrage continues. You should be prepared to take the box any day, any time I bring it to you.
Doesn't the contract state that?
No.
Isn't that clear for you in the contract?
I mean, it's clear. If I bring it back to you, then the demurrage, there's a cessation. It stops. It ceases. Okay? But if I bring it back to you, why are you telling me that I brought the container back to you on Saturday at 5 p.m.? So at 5 p.m., no. The terminal that takes it is not working. So hold on till Monday morning. But then you do not stop the demurrage.
I don't understand this argument. No, I don't understand this argument. You know why I don't understand this argument? What is the original agreement? The original agreement, you know that this shipping line works from Monday to Friday.
You are aware of that.
Hold on. You are aware of that. Taking the box on Saturday or something, before you know the terminals, you know the timelines. So if you need something else to be done, it's an issue of dialogue. This is what I'm saying. But today you can't.
The issue of dialogue is another matter.
Let me find out
something. This has become a norm.
Let me find out something. Maybe it's quite ambiguous in the contract that you have with them. But if it is clear that you are supposed to, if you don't come, if you don't bring the box, if you leave it standing over the period, over the weekends, you will have to pay demurrage for it. And they make that known to you, and it is clearly stated that even for the weekends, whether we work or not, we will charge you if you don't bring it. And you still agree.
Oh, yes.
You do?
Not coming.
Then
so
you
let me
have,
explain.
You don't have a cause to complain.
So then you're not getting the point. The point is, you have released this box to me. You said, if you do not bring this box after so and so time, I will charge you demurrage. Okay. You need your box. This is your prime equipment. So I take it. I've done offloading it. I'm bringing it back to you wholesome on Saturday at 5 p.m.
And he's not there.
You say no. On Saturday at 5 p.m., I'm not. That is not part of the contract. That if
In
you
the
bring
contract,
it
doesn't it state that weekends are not part?
No.
Okay.
If I bring it back to you, you should take it any day. This is
So
your
that
precious
missing link,
equipment.
that missing.
Why are you telling me you won't take it
No,
on
so that
Saturday,
missing
but you will
link,
charge me?
Eddie, that missing link in the contract, have you challenged it anywhere?
My brother.
Because that's
I have a dossier of petitions and letters that were written. That is why I keep saying that. You know, Mr. Ayana made a point that although he is a member of SWAG, these are individual businesses and they have their own business models and administrative. I'm asking, if we want to tackle them on a one-on-one basis, yes, we will. We don't want a chaotic situation. If these are basic regulations in a country, maybe what is the custom of the port? Let's decide in Ghana, we're going to give maybe 14 free days. The custom is what, 7 days in Ghana. But my thing is, if I return it, why would you say you have a terminal, there's a private terminal you're dealing with, so you're looking at the terminals, working hours. If they don't work on Sunday, fine, that's not your problem. But then you will take the money that I have brought your box. Take it. You said no. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to charge you.
No, listen, it looks like there are not too many shipping lines in this country. Just 1 second. No. There are not too many shipping lines in the country. Now, assume that we have even a number to it, and we say there are about 20 of them. The fear is that if you are not careful, you have a cartel situation where they will all agree that, look, let's just
we have a lot of shipping lines in Ghana. In fact, if you look at West Africa, I can tell you Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have the highest number of shipping lines.
That you think people have easy options where when one decides to go
with the number of shipping lines,
you can just ignore
with the number of shipping lines we do have quite a number.
But to address the issue, you see,
for them,
not from the
and number enough not for them to hijack the system.
No, in the first place,
be careful with the choice of words.
Yes, in the first place, you see, we are used to hammering on issues than looking for solutions. When did MPS start? We know the reclamation that MPS did. MPS has a large, they have enough space. Very soon, this issue of containers being returned to off-dock terminals will be a thing of the past. And people will return it to where? The 24/7 place. And this will be very, very, very soon as these whole things have started, right? But at the end of the day, when he says that that is not the case, or he's sticking to, said, oh, you said I should bring it, please, let's look at the details. At the end of the day, you know that I work from Monday to Friday. You know that the terminals work from so much to so much over the period. This is the basis in which I release the container to you. So if you know the terminals don't work on Saturday or Sunday, or they work up to 3 p.m., why should you go and stand there on Sunday with the I'm returning my container? That is one aspect.
I took a box to Kumasi on Friday. How do you control the number of hours you spend on the road driving back to Tema, if let's say there's traffic? So if I get to Tema, but it's just a terminal receiving the box. This is not a matter of release. This is receiving your box, your equipment, which you are so, they say this is the most important.
Is it not something that
you say, I will take it today, but I'll charge you for it.
I don't know how to explain this. Let's look at the terminal. No, hold on. We have a terminal. We have Terminal A, right? What are the operating hours of Terminal A? It's very simple. This is where maybe this shipping line keeps their boxes. The shipping line will have to abide by the policies of Terminal A. The person who is coming to take the consignment from the shipping line knows that this is what pertains.
If there is an issue, scary part. Hold on. Because then you could create an artificial situation.
Hold on.
You could create an artificial situation. I'm not going to take it on.
I think what we are discussing is just a problem that has arisen within a short period.
No. A long time
and ago. I believe that this problem would be resolved as a few months go by, especially within the context of what Ayana just said. He said, look, you're looking at a situation where in the future you would not be depositing these containers in the off-dock terminals.
No, but that's
You
future.
would, you would, just a minute, just a minute. Yeah,
Situation.
you're looking for solutions.
Yeah.
You are not just continuing to complain and complain
Yeah.
and complain. What is the practical solution? The man is raising a legitimate question. That, look, I mean, I'm bringing back your box. You say you are not taking it, but I'm being charged.
Charged for it.
This other person is raising a legitimate answer to say that, look, when you were coming for the boxes, you knew that I would not be working at this time. But for purposes of...
And still charge you.
Yeah, because you knew that I don't work at this time. So when you go to the bank for a loan and it's Saturday afternoon, you don't say I'm coming to pay you on Sunday. But
you don't get charged because
You mean the bank doesn't charge you interest? The interest Sunday is not part of it?
Yeah, so
Sunday is not part of it.
It does. So, but for purposes of easing the doing of business within the port, both parties appreciate the fact that there is the need. Both parties appreciate the fact that there is a need for a solution. And I can hear from the shipping lines that, look, they're trying to find a solution. I can hear you crying out loud that there is the need to find a solution. So parties have to come to the table and resolve these issues. We cannot do that at the studio.
Yeah.
It's good that we've raised consciousness about these things, and then we'll continue to, Jojo at the back of the, the
that's
business
what I want to find out
table
from
to actually have these matters resolved.
I want to find out from Mr. Ayana that isn't not about time that we consider doing something about this particular weekend and receipt. Not even if you don't even intend to work, and at least just collection. Can't that be done in looking for solutions?
Sammy, I don't know how to address this issue again to you. At the end of the day, if there is a challenge, right, the shipping line does not own the terminal, right? The terminal is a business on its own.
Yeah.
And because the shipping line didn't have somewhere to accept their boxes because Tema Port at that time was not, ready for such situations. If the port was, this issue would not come.
Okay.
The shipping line goes and pays even for that terminal. And there's extra cost there.
Okay.
And so they have to go by the dictates of the terminal, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if something has to change, definitely there will be numbers also. And all is about cost. So you have to look at it holistically and then try to resolve it. But I'm saying that as we dialogue, I'm sure in the next couple of months or thereabout, as MPS business, keeps going, these things will be a thing of the past. Because if MPS is working 24/7, then you can always bring your box in 24/7.
We really hope this has to happen soon because, it's really adding to the cost of doing business and something we're looking at.
Okay.
And the ease of doing it too.
So it looks like almost all the text messages are around the same thing, and if we want to go back, you would have to respond to almost all the...
They are all the
all
same.
of them.
One.
It's the same. So now that we know where the problem is, and we know that there's a possibility of responding to some of them, the other one that I would want you to touch on is a bit of charges. And Uncle Ibu, what do you make of the charges of the shipping lines? The differences in charges of the shipping lines, the fact that they also use different exchange rates that are way beyond the BOG one. I just want your take on it because...
No, I am not in that area. The shipping line is my client.
Yeah.
I don't belong to
the freight forwarders.
The freight forwarders category. I don't know what happens there.
Okay.
The shipping line comes to me, I perform a service, we agree on our charges, and then we do business together. We have nothing to do with
the BOG charges
no,
and all
no,
of these.
no,
So I think
don't
that
have anything to do with
better.
that.
Ms. Ayana, is there something that can be done on your charges when it comes to reconciling that with the rates that are charged by the BOG?
What are you talking about? Charges? Are you talking of ROE?
Interest rates. The exchange rates that are charged by that are applied by the lines as against that of the BOG.
I don't know. It's a business decision. I must say it's a business decision. You see, and I don't know how else to explain this. At the end of the day,
can we reconcile it at some point? People have asked that can't we have a ceiling for which you would operate so that if the BOG says that dollar is 50 you don't have somebody charging 5.9, somebody charging 4.2 all the way down there. So
are you
there's a
telling me
ceiling.
that the BOG is saying that at the end of the day, dollar is 5.0 and that is it? Everybody, forex,
No,
bureaus,
that's why I
everybody
said
should.
that-
So there are rules
Let's
governing
mention
these
this.
things. So are we doing anything? Are they doing something very illegal? Then we have to look at it. If they are, we have to look at it. Otherwise, then if we are talking of commerce, then let's dialogue. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So it's that would not, you know, listen, at the end of the day, I was telling somebody, when I was in charge of South Marine, for instance, there was a forwarder who controlled cargo, right? He controlled cargo. And this guy gave me, what do you call it, volumes, fixed volumes, within a certain space of time, right? The local charges that I even charge, which is part of my freight, because for me at the time, the origin charges up to the local charges are all part of my freight charges. I net it off to see my freight profitability. And this guy guaranteed me volumes. And what did I do? He was also offering a service to people. So we sat down and negotiated, and I gave him a discount. So what I was charging Mr. A, I wasn't charging Mr. B. And it's all about negotiations. If you say you are a customer to the shipping lines, go and dialogue with them. Don't see yourself sitting at one angle to say we versus them.
Right.
No, you are working on behalf of a customer of the shipping line. Take that authority from that customer and go and dialogue. Like the customer is talking to the shipping line. This is the only way we can move even the customs brokerage forward, so that the next level we have to push them is to become full-fledged forwarders.
Sure.
Before I take the international, do you see that mechanism for dialogue provided for you to be able to air some of these challenges and grievances and have them redressed?
If we have that, that would be perfect.
You don't have that?
Except right now, it is not there. So like I said, see, he was saying, this is a matter of each, it's a business decision by any of these shipping lines. And like I said last week, even if you check with the Bank of Ghana, they'll tell you that rate is indicative. So then they have, but like I was saying, if there is, this is what I said in the first place, that if there is no regulation, then we have a recipe for chaos. Look, because somebody can jump to any, any figure that he wants. Like I was saying, somebody was charging 5.8 as of last week, okay? When maybe the Bank of Ghana rate was 5.3. My thing is, okay, you cannot do anything about it. One, the fact that you have used his line, you are stuck with him. You don't have that free market, ease of going to another shipping line, because this is this. So if you come in
before
today,
you use the line, you knew their rates.
If I ship something from the US, I would not know that by the time the box arrives in Ghana, the exchange rate at that shipping line will be 5.9. There is no way I would know.
I see.
And it changes.
So then
So
he talks about, because now we've moved from the thing being illegal, so we know that it's something they're legitimately executing. So how do you dialogue commercially at this point?
Exactly.
Who do you reach out to, and how do you expect that level of dialogue to take place?
In all of this, that is where the governance structure would work, that there has to be a certain supremo who would look down and say, okay, this is the industry. Maybe I'm running the industry, be it the Ghana Maritime Authority, or and say that, okay, let us have a certain, let's look at the whole spectrum. See, what can we do to his GRA has its role to play, the Ghana Maritime Authority has a role to play, all of it. Then we can sit down and look at it and say, okay, you can play within this, say there are things that you cannot do. Okay, there has to be some regulation. If not,
and then
chaotic.
You know why I'm a bit worried with my brother's statement? You mean me, a service provider, you, a customer, you are my customer, and between us, our dealing, we want somebody to come and regulate our business relationship.
So not in generality. Not in the generality.
You know regulation.
That's where I'm coming from.
Regulation can't be dealt with between the two of you.
No.
The service provider and then the client. Exactly. If it's regulations, they
have a contract.
That is going to what I mean is, why can't me, a customer, go to my service provider and dialogue?
I don't
think come to some level of understanding.
When you're talking about
thousands and thousands
of
importers, if I'm bringing one box, you see, you just made a specific reference to somebody who was giving you volumes. And because of that, you were giving him special treatment.
Dictate.
Exactly. I agree with you. So what I'm saying is that what happens to the generality of the trading public those who are bringing in one box here, you know, 2 boxes there, will say, okay, these people, let them go through, you know, the mail, but I'll deal specifically with those who are bringing me volumes. It's good for your business, but the nation also has to look at, that is why there's the local content issues are there. They say, okay, our people are vulnerable, okay, they don't have the capacities you have. You are a conglomerate, and say, how are they going to, you know,
match up with you?
Match up with you.
Okay.
So we have to save this for our people so that they can catch up and build, you know, and build, you know, build them up. So
But on the B2B basis, do you see that dialogue platform provided?
That is what I'm saying. You see, you mentioned the issue of maybe the formation of cartels and stuff. Okay. At that point, they are super powerful. That look, if you come to me and says, look, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. You come to me, I said, okay, but my container came in on Friday, the vessel arrived on Friday. Why do you start counting the 7 days from Friday? He says, this is what it is. I mean, you pay or not. What are you going to do? You brought in 1 box, you're going to sit down and take this, this shipping line to court, and all that because of that one. You said, look, let me
and
just
you're
pay
saying
the
that
charges.
there's no platform you can go to.
There is none.
For that kind of
there
redress.
is.
Okay.
I mean, the only platform you have is go to the manager there of the shipping
And if he
line.
denies you,
if he denies you, you're
you are
finished.
gone. Mr. Ayana,
Idea is mixing a couple of things and still going on why a shipping line charging demurrage on weekends, etc., because they are working. It's a different story.
No, I think now we are looking at
shipping line, the contract. No, hold on. Yes,
Yeah.
It's different from what he's saying because at the end of the day, the contract that the shipping line has with the people says that my demurrage is Saturday, Sunday, irrespective of me working, and it's there. They should read it.
But it doesn't
But
say that
on
I
the
won't take the
issue-
boxes back on Saturday and Sunday. It doesn't say that.
It
does not say that.
Do we have a platform for them where they can come and, you know, like you raised, dialogue and talk? Because if the
let
man
him
is
tell
pushing
me.
him away.
Let me tell him. Let me ask him a question.
Okay.
Has Mex ever done a customer service, what do you call it, interactions?
They do.
Do MSCs, do they do interaction with their customers? Do CMA, don't they all do interactions with their customers? And that is all towards these, testing the grounds, asking their customers, what are the challenges, etc. These dialogues go on, just like MPS has been doing it. This dialogue goes on and on and on.
Zayana,
So
go and ask the shipping lines that you've mentioned. Please go back and ask them when was the last time they did it.
oh, but they do it, right?
Just go and ask
No,
them
no,
the
don't
last
they
time.
do it?
You're
Okay,
asking.
so we have
That time
agreed.
is what I'm telling
We have
you when
agreed.
it's happening on the ground.
We have agreed that we need that platform. We need that level, that dialogue platform.
Oh, that dialogue
which,
is there. It's
which
there.
we are saying that
It's there.
the freight forwarder says it's not there. The line,
I was at
the
a
line
freight
says-
forwarder event on Friday, right?
This Friday.
And my good friend was there. And unfortunately, one gentleman from Mex came. I think he's now the customer service or shipping manager.
Yeah.
And then immediately they raised the issue. I'm like, do you have any avenues that you can? Oh, yeah, this is my friend. I go to him and he solves it for me. So I said, so why don't you make that available to your office staff? He said, oh, but me and Eddie. No,
it shouldn't be
create
on
a succession
individual
plan
basis.
in your system. Okay. Make your small business, make it very professional, and let all the people also deal with the people at the top. The people are not beasts, they are not whatever. Give them that platform so that they can also go to what we call in Ghana the big man. Who is a big man? The customer service manager is there to serve the customers. The shipping manager is there to serve the shipping manager. Apart from you, make sure that your office staff also have that relationship so that if anything, they can go and dialogue. If you can't get it, come and tell me. I'll create it for you.
Aglebo, the issue of getting avenues to, you know, get redress and all of that as we seek to ensure trade facilitation within our port space. And
I believe that there's the need for stakeholder engagements. And
is that lacking?
No,
there is.
And there's the need to continue to do that. I mean, if you are an entity and you don't engage your stakeholders, then it's an avenue for disaster. Yeah. So you continue to engage your stakeholders. You have reporting lines. You have, as Ayana said, customer service points, which are official and not due to favoritism or anything of the sort. Exactly. So that these engagements are constant. I know there are many such engagements that are even done by organized by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Port Authority itself, and the port community associations and all that. So the Port Authority does a lot within this context to bring these people together. I believe that if you have a problem and you believe that maybe the shipping line is not able to help, you could go to the Port Authority, and the Port Authority would, which is the regulator, you know, of issues within the port, can actually bring parties together and talk. I think the first line is to talk rather than just regulate, you know, and I know the Port Authority does a lot of this. So please channel it through the Port Authority and see whether, you know, that redress will not be found.
Okay. I will take international news when I come back. I hear from Eddie, and then we are ending. International news and the schedules of the vessels that have come into the port, those that are also at Anchorage, those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates that you need to know to clear your goods out of the ports also. Next.
The Norwegian ship owner, J.J. Ogland, has stated that 9 crew members were taken hostage from the bulk carrier MV Bonita in the early morning hours of November 2 off Cotonou, Benin. The anchored vessel was boarded by pirates while it was waiting for berth to discharge inbound cargo of gypsum, a mineral commonly used as fertilizer destined for Benin. The remaining crew notified local authorities, and Norway flagged MV Bonita docked at the port city of Cotonou later the same day, the company said in a statement. In a related development, the Hellenic Coast Guard has confirmed that armed pirates have kidnapped 4 crew members from a Greece-flagged tanker off the coast of Togo. The vessel, identified as the 94,143 deadweight tonnage Elka Aristotle, was boarded by pirates while anchored near the West African port of Lomé on November 4, 2019. The attack resulted in the kidnapping of 4 of the ship's 24 crew members, according to the Coast Guard. The Vice President of the General Authority for Transport for the Maritime Transport Sector in Saudi Arabia has attributed the growth of the Saudi Arabian flagged fleet by 28% in 2018 to improvements achieved by the country's maritime authority. Speaking to World Maritime News on the sidelines of the Sustainable Marine Development Towards 2030 and Beyond conference, which is being hosted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Al-Qahtani noted that the improvements now enable ship owners to register their ships under the Saudi Arabian flag in less than 2 minutes.
Okay, so welcome the gentlemen in the studio. Continue their discussions even while we're on break. But Mr. Frank Ebo Brown is the legal license and permits manager, Meridian Port Services. Mr. Edward Akron is the council member and immediate past executive secretary, GIF. Adam Imoro Ayana is the Executive Member, Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana. Mazedi, you end for us in 10 seconds.
Okay, I'll just go on the issue on the issue of stakeholder dialogue and all that. Like I said, the dialogue, the stakeholder thing has almost become like a dress a talk shop. There's something on my brother's wall in his office. Every time I go, I look at it 10 times. There's, if Moses, committees are like people who are brought together to decide that nothing can be done. And if Moses were to be a committee, the Israelites would still have been in Egypt. We've been going about these issues for how many years now? If we do not find, stop the talk shop and then actually tackle these issues in totality, then the ease of doing business and cost of doing business will be a mirage.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back same time next week with another edition of Eye on Port.
Newcastle.
Newcastle.